Top 10 Best Historical War Movies. Number 10, Saving Private Ryan. Saving Private Ryan is a powerful war movie directed by Steven Spielberg and released in 1998. The film tells the story of a group of American soldiers during World War II, led by Captain John Miller, Tom Hanks, who were sent on a dangerous mission to find and rescue Private James Francis Ryan, Matt Damon, whose 3 brothers have been killed in combat. The movie opens with an intense and graphic depiction of the Normandy landings during the D-Day invasion, a scene that is widely regarded as one of the most realistic and harrowing depictions of combat ever captured on film. The rest of the movie follows the group of soldiers as they navigate the dangers of the battlefield and the challenges of locating Ryan, all the while grappling with the human toll of war and the value of risking lives to save one man. Tom Hanks delivers an outstanding performance as Captain Miller, a man who has seen too much of the horrors of war and who struggles to balance his duty to his men with his own conscience. Matt Damon also shines as Private Ryan, whose guilt over his brother's deaths and his reluctance to leave his fellow soldiers behind adds a compelling layer to the story. The film is also notable for its technical excellence, including its stunning cinematography, sound design, and special effects, which create a visceral and immersive experience for the viewer. The final battle scene, in particular, is a masterful depiction of chaos and violence that captures the uncertainty and danger of war. Overall, Saving Private Ryan is an emotionally powerful and thought-provoking film that explores the human cost of war with sensitivity and nuance. It is a true classic of the war movie genre and a testament to Spielberg's skill as a filmmaker. Number 9, Defiance. Defiance is a 2008 American war film directed by Edward Zwick set during the occupation of Belarus by Nazi Germany. The movie is a historical drama based on a true story, set during World War II in Nazi-occupied Eastern Europe. The movie follows the Bielski brothers, Tavia, Zus, Asael, and Aaron, who are Jewish Belarusian partisans. After their parents are killed by the Nazis, the Bielski brothers flee to the nearby forest, where they encounter other Jews who have also escaped from the ghettos. Tavia, the eldest brother, takes charge and decides to create a community in the forest, where they can live and fight back against the Nazis. As time passes, the community grows, and the Bielski brothers become known as leaders and protectors of the Jews in the area. Zus, however, becomes frustrated with Tavia's leadership and decides to leave the group to join a group of Soviet partisans, who are more focused on attacking the Nazis directly. Tavia and his brothers continue to lead the community in the forest, and they face numerous challenges, including attacks from the Nazis and conflicts within their own group. Asael is killed in one of these attacks, and Aaron is captured by the Nazis. In the end, Tavia leads his group to victory against the Nazis, and they are eventually rescued by Soviet troops. The movie ends with a summary of the Bielski brothers' lives after the war, including their emigration to the United States and their ongoing efforts to honor the memory of those who died in the Holocaust. Number 8, The Last Samurai. Number 7, Mongol, The Rise to Power of Genghis Khan. Mongol, The Rise to Power of Genghis Khan is a 2008 Russian-Kazakhstani historical drama film directed by Sergei Bodzhov. The film depicts the early life of Temujin, who later became known as Genghis Khan, and his rise to power in the 12th and 13th centuries. The film begins with Temujin as a young boy, living with his family in the harsh and unforgiving Mongolian wilderness. His father is poisoned by a rival tribe, leaving Temujin and his family to fend for themselves. Temujin is captured by a rival tribe and enslaved, but he manages to escape and begins to gather followers who become his loyal companions. As Temujin grows older, he begins to establish his reputation as a warrior and a leader. He marries Bort, but she is later kidnapped by a rival tribe. Temujin sets out to rescue her, and in the process, he defeats his enemies and gains more followers. He also meets and befriends Jamaica, who becomes his closest ally. However, Temujin's success and growing power make him a threat to the ruling clans, who see him as a challenge to their authority. They attempt to assassinate him, but he survives and goes on the offensive. In a series of brutal battles, Temujin emerges victorious and establishes himself as the leader of the Mongol tribes. The film ends with Temujin proclaiming himself Genghis Khan and uniting the Mongol tribes under his leadership. The epilogue reveals that Genghis Khan went on to conquer much of Asia and Eastern Europe, creating the largest empire in history. Overall, Mongol, The Rise to Power of Genghis Khan is a visually stunning and epic retelling of the early life of one of the most legendary figures in history. Number 6, Kingdom of Heaven. Kingdom of Heaven is a 2005 historical drama film directed by Ridley Scott. The film is set in the 12th century during the Crusades, a series of military campaigns waged by Christian Europe against the Muslim forces in the Holy Land. The story follows Balian of Ibelin, played by Orlando Bloom, a blacksmith in France who loses his family and finds himself on a journey of self-discovery. He is visited by his estranged father, Baron Godfrey of Ibelin, played by Liam Neeson, who reveals that he is dying and asks Balian to join him on his journey to Jerusalem. Balian accepts his father's offer and travels to Jerusalem, which is under the control of the Christian king, Baldwin IV, played by Edward Norton, who is leper and his power is challenged by the ambitious Guy de Lusignan, played by Martin Chokosh, who seeks to wage war against the Muslims. Balian becomes embroiled in the conflict between the Christian and Muslim forces, and he is forced to choose between his beliefs and his loyalty to the king. He falls in love with a beautiful Sibylla, played by Eva Green, the sister of the king, but she is already married to Guy de Lusignan. As the conflict escalates, Balian becomes a key player in the battle for Jerusalem. He leads a small army against the much larger Muslim forces led by Saladin, played by Ghassan Massoud, and he manages to negotiate a peaceful surrender of the city. The film ends with Balian leaving Jerusalem and returning to France, where he promises to lead a peaceful life and continue his father's legacy. Overall, Kingdom of Heaven is a visually stunning and epic retelling of the events of the Crusades. The film explores the themes of faith, loyalty, and the consequences of war, and features strong performances from its cast, including Bloom, Norton, and Green. Number 5, 300. 300 is a 2006 historical action film directed by Zack Snyder and based on the 1998 comic series of the same name by Frank Miller and Lynn Valley. The movie tells the story of the Battle of Thermopylae, in which a small group of Spartan warriors fought against the massive Persian army in 480 BC. King Leonidas of Sparta leads a force of 300 of his best warriors to defend the narrow mountain pass at Thermopylae, which is the only way for the Persian army to invade Greece. The Spartans are vastly outnumbered, but they are highly skilled warriors and are determined to hold their ground. The Persians, led by King Xerxes, send wave after wave of soldiers to attack the Spartans, but they are unable to break through the Spartan defense. The Spartans fight bravely, using their superior training and tactics to take down many of the Persian soldiers. Meanwhile, back in Sparta, Queen Gorgo tries to rally support for her husband's cause, but she faces opposition from the corrupt council, who are more interested in maintaining their power than in defending their city. As the battle rages on, Leonidas realizes that they are fighting a losing battle and sends one of his soldiers to ask the other Greek city-states for help. However, the other city-states refuse to send aid, leaving the Spartans to fight alone. In the final battle, Leonidas and his remaining soldiers fight to the death against the Persian army. Though they are ultimately defeated, their bravery and sacrifice inspire the other Greek city-states to unite and fight against the Persians. The movie received mixed reviews from critics but was praised for its stunning visuals and intense action sequences. It has since become a cult classic and has spawned a number of sequels and spin-offs. Number 4, Braveheart. Braveheart is a 1995 epic historical drama film directed by and starring Mel Gibson. The movie tells the story of William Wallace, a Scottish warrior who led a rebellion against English rule in the late 13th century. The movie begins with the death of William's father and brother, who were killed by the English. William, who had been living with his uncle, returns to his family's farm and meets his childhood sweetheart, Muron. However, their happiness is short-lived as Muron is killed by an English soldier when she resists his attempt to rape her. William seeks revenge and kills the soldiers responsible for Muron's death, leading to him becoming an outlaw. He is joined by other Scots who also want to fight against English rule. The Scottish nobles are initially reluctant to join William's cause, but eventually they come together and agree to fight against the English. William leads the Scottish army to a number of victories against the English, including the Battle of Stirling Bridge. However, tensions arise between William and some of the Scottish nobles, who want to negotiate a peace treaty with the English. William rejects the idea and instead seeks to continue fighting until Scotland is free. In the final battle, William leads the Scottish army against the English at the Battle of Falkirk. Despite a valiant effort, the Scottish army is defeated and William is captured and executed. However, his legacy lives on as the Scottish people continue to fight for their freedom. The movie received critical acclaim and won 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director for Mel Gibson. It is known for its epic battle scenes, powerful performances, and its portrayal of the struggle for Scottish independence. Number 3, Red Cliff. Red Cliff is a 2008 epic war film directed by John Woo and based on the Battle of Red Cliffs in 208 to 209 AD, a key event in the end of the Han Dynasty in ancient China. The movie begins with the Prime Minister of Han Dynasty, Cao Cao, Zhang Fengyi, leading his army of 800,000 soldiers towards the south with the aim of conquering the kingdoms of Wu and Shu. However, the kingdoms form an alliance to defend themselves, with the Wu commander Zhou Yu, Tony Liang, and the Shu strategist Zhuge Liang, Takeshi Kaneshiro, leading the resistance. As the two sides prepare for battle, Zhou Yu uses his intelligence and strategic thinking to devise a plan to defeat Cao Cao's much larger army. Meanwhile, Zhuge Liang infiltrates Cao Cao's camp and causes discord among his ranks, leading to a weakened morale. Eventually, the two sides meet in the climactic Battle of Red Cliffs. Despite being outnumbered, Zhou Yu's forces are able to use their knowledge of the river currents and the geography of the area to outmaneuver and defeat Cao Cao's forces. The battle is won, and the alliance is able to repel Cao Cao's invasion, thereby preserving their independence. The movie concludes with the kingdoms of Wu and Shu celebrating their victory while Cao Cao returns to the capital, where he is met with disappointment and anger from the emperor for his failure to conquer the Number 2, Gladiator. Gladiator is a 2000 epic historical drama film directed by Ridley Scott and starring Russell Crowe. The movie tells the story of Maximus Decimus Meridius, a loyal general in the Roman army who was betrayed by the emperor's son and forced into slavery. After escaping slavery, Maximus becomes a gladiator and seeks revenge against the corrupt Emperor Commodus, who killed his family and seized power. Maximus wins a series of brutal battles in the arena, gaining fame and the admiration of the Roman people. Meanwhile, Commodus becomes increasingly paranoid and unstable, fearing that Maximus will lead a rebellion against him. He orders Maximus to fight in a final, deadly match against a legendary gladiator. Maximus wins the fight but is severely wounded. In a final showdown between Maximus and Commodus, the two engage in a brutal fight to the death in the Colosseum. Maximus ultimately kills Commodus, but is mortally wounded in the process. As he lies dying, he has visions of reuniting with his family in the afterlife. The movie received critical acclaim and won 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Actor for Russell Crowe. Number 1, Troy. Troy is a 2004 historical epic film directed by Wolfgang Petersen, based on Homer's epic poem, The Iliad, which recounts the story of the Trojan War. The movie tells the story of the conflict between the kingdoms of Troy and Greece, sparked by the abduction of Helen, Diane Kruger, the wife of the Greek king Menelaus, Brendan Gleeson, by the Trojan prince Paris, Orlando Bloom. In retaliation, Menelaus leads a massive Greek army, consisting of legendary warriors like Achilles, Brad Pitt, to attack Troy and reclaim Helen. The two sides engage in a brutal war that lasts for years, with both suffering significant losses. The Greeks are able to make some headway when Achilles kills the Trojan prince Hector, Eric Bana, but his death causes the Trojans to rally behind the leadership of their king Priam, Peter O'Toole, and his son Paris. In the final battle, the Greeks are able to infiltrate the city of Troy by means of a wooden horse filled with soldiers. They succeed in opening the gates and invading the city, leading to a final showdown between Achilles and Paris. Achilles emerges victorious, but is ultimately killed by Paris' arrow. In the end, the Greeks emerge as the victors, but at a heavy cost. The Trojan prince Aeneas, Luke Evans, is shown leading a group of survivors out of the ruined city, foreshadowing the events of Virgil's Aeneid, which recounts his journey to found the Roman Empire.